This is for just
I mean, just kind of wanted to let people know what you saw today.
yeah in the Trey studio.
It was your first time to see it.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a Tuesday night. It's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah, and got a little time
21st
off.
of July.
21st of July. School's out still. We're about to crank it up full time in our new normals that we're about to have coming up. But I decided to take a trip up to Jackson so we could do the show together. You know what I'm saying? Catch up, make up a little for some lost time. And before we got on tonight, we took a little tour of Jackson, and Butts kind of brought me around, showed me some things. But the first thing that we went to do, kind of what I saw last night, I was thinking about what could we do while we were there. I saw the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum.
Right.
Yeah, that was opened in 2017 here in Jackson, in downtown Jackson. It was very nice, and it is. First, I was just blown away with the facility as soon as I pulled up. Like, this looks like something, no offense to Jackson, but I've spent a lot of time in Jackson, but it just didn't feel like Jackson when I first saw it. But, I'm glad to know that it is. And, I appreciate the city of Jackson for putting it together, their Civil Rights Museum. But because we don't have one like that in Baton Rouge, like, there's none. I can't think of anyone in the state of Louisiana that's as thorough as the one that y'all have out here. Mm-hmm. And if someone knows where it is, please point me in the direction. But the Whitney Plantation is probably the best historical museum for Black history that I've seen in Louisiana.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So look, that's you come down, I'm gonna have to take you there.
We'll have a field trip next time.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things around the Jackson area. I mean, everything from the Children's Museum, there's a lot of things like that in and around Jackson that probably enough people don't take the time to go to.
Right.
See, especially something as important as where we went today.
Yes.
It's very eye-opening. I mean, we were only there for within an hour.
Yeah, like 30 minutes.
They let us in for free.
Yep.
If you go after 3, they stop taking tickets.
Yep.
So if you want to get in for free, just
Yeah, but an hour not enough time to
It's really not.
Really see everything and really understand the full capacity of what's there. And the brief, they we asked them if it was okay to take some videos, so we did a little documentation and exploring, and us being kind of goofy and trying to make light of a heavy history. But check the story out on the Chestnut Checkers page, and we're gonna continue. I ain't even finished loading up all of them, but we had some good moments today that we gonna share with y'all.
I mean, I don't know if I like to, everyone says like new normal. It sounds weird to me.
Yeah, it's just easy to say.
Yeah, it's just like we're getting out, and you're going, where's my keys, my wallet, where's my mask?
Every time. I
gotta put some hand sanitizer on.
Yep, gotta sanitize.
Or whatever. And
COVID cautions.
I mean, I have some in my truck, but they have masks for you if you. They would have masks for you, and that's not a place you're touching a lot of stuff anyway.
Right. And there wasn't that many people at all, so we kind of had that place almost to ourselves.
It's the first time I went there was with our school. Our school took the kids there, which says a lot about.
Yeah, right.
Every school that brings kids to a place like that to say, hey, this is what happened, and that's one reason I've talked about Mississippi. It's here, and but at least that it's, we're letting kids know about it. I mean, that's important. It should be mandatory. All history classes at some point.
100%.
Like in the state or wherever.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna take a trip. Field trips schools don't really take field trips as much as they used to back in the day.
It depends,
We went to the Mississippi Petrified Forest when I was like in elementary school.
Didn't know y'all even had one of those.
Petrified Forest?
Gotta see it.
It might be kind of boring as an adult. Your kids might have fun. You could go. I don't even know if it's still open. I guess it is, but they give you this fake gold and you go mine for gold and stuff. But I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's like a kid thing, though. Well, that's cool. I'll take my kids to go see that for sure.
All right.
Yeah. Hold on, let me do something right quick. Let me tag you in this. If I can. Maybe I can't. But yeah, so we get there and we see the awesome facility and we're blown away by that first of all anyway. Mm-hmm. And man, there was this beautiful mural that was written on a building, that was drawn on a building across the street. And it was something
very colorful, very just colorful. Vibrant, you know. I don't know all 4 people on it, I'm ashamed to say. It's 4 people, 2 ladies, 2 men. David Banner was one.
David Banner was one, and Medgar was the other. Mm-hmm. I was thinking
I should do my history. I should know when that mural was painted, but I don't.
Right, and I don't either, and I didn't, but I looked it up, and I posted a video about it on the site, on the page, so I was like challenging other people to go look it up, comment, and see if they can know who it is. So I don't want to give it away. But,
so you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm gonna let you know afterwards, but okay. I went ahead and looked it up. So but yeah, at first glance, I made it up in my head that it was Fannie Lou Hamer and Merle Ellis, but when I looked at it again, I was like, hold up, that's not Fannie Lou Hamer, and then I went ahead and found out who it was though.
I would imagine that maybe someone like, it's weird that David Banner would be up there though.
It is.
Maybe he donated the money, maybe some of the money.
Possibly. I'm sure he probably.
Just being from Jackson, he's very much in the community, you know, giving back.
Definitely.
Which more.
David Banner was actually his show that he did at Valley Homecoming, like I guess it was our freshman year. Mm-hmm. That was my first like real rap concert that I had went to, like other than May Night at McKinley. Yeah,
David Banner Homecoming. Poured down rain after no one showed up in the gym. He said, "I'm not starting until y'all fill this gym up." Basically, and
eventually it got.
Eventually they filled it up for him.
All right, so the mural, the awesome facility, the grounds that it's on, and I think the first thing that caught our attention, and the video is up of, there was a recording of all the lynchings that had taken place in Mississippi. From 1886, I believe, until 1949, the year my mom was born.
70 years ago.
70 years. And
there's a lot of people 70 years ago.
The lists were about 8 feet tall, maybe 10.
There were 5 rows up in front and back.
5 rows
of all the years, just
yeah. It was crazy to see that. And just have names and like reasons that people had been lynched. So the last one that was taking place in 1949 was of a guy named Malcolm Wright.
Right. Malcolm Wright.
So how much of a coincidence was it that it happened on the year my mom was born and my name is Malcolm? You know, just like that last guy who was lynched for the reason of,
I forget. You wrote it
down.
It
was hogging the road.
He was hogging the road.
They lynched him for hogging the road.
Is that kind of ironic that what's happening now between police and people of the black community, and yet hogging the road would be something that's
like selling loose cigarettes or something, you know?
But hogging the road, maybe, I guess the proper term today would be maybe you're not staying in your lane. Mm-hmm. Okay? Not
yielding.
So
whatever.
If you're hogging the road, maybe you're whatever. Who knows? I didn't know that was a real.
Is that a death sentence? Like I didn't let you pass.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No. Like, come on, man.
It's not.
They lynched my boy Malcolm for that.
And it's not like we're hating on police or white people for saying this was okay. It's just that's how society was in 1949.
Man.
For white and black people.
I'm not blaming the people who are alive today, but the people who did that they suck for sure.
But I mean, like always, but kids that grew up in that. If you was a little boy and all you knew about was you're 3 years old, you're like, in your head you're going, okay, another black person's getting lynched today. So you're just brought up thinking that, right?
Right.
So anybody born in, because they used to do them in the city or out,
out in the open, yeah.
So imagine anybody born prior to that last one starting in 1959.
Just pretty much anybody born right after.
You're growing up, and as you get into adulthood, you're you start realizing like this is not right, and it was those people. Thank God that's what the whole museum was about. They were just kind of like, this isn't right.
Right.
We need to put a change to this.
It was a lot of white people who, you know, who was participating in in those marches. And
a lot of in the sit-ins. Yeah. So many white people, not just from Mississippi, like they came.
Oh yeah, they was coming from
all over the place.
Yeah, they was coming from all over the country. And yeah, that was a thing that they highlighted.
None were violent. They were just
all non-violent.
They would arrive and they would get arrested basically, you know.
Right. I mean, by the hundreds, just like you knowing you about to get locked up. So like, you know, it was just good to see that bravery within the face of like, you know, your life is on the line basically. So, but it was inspiring to see so many people who was fighting for it. Like, and the museum was like brutally honest. Like they had, you know, Klan robes and you know, like all of that stuff in there.
Yeah. For
you to see like this was what was really going. It wasn't no joke. And you know, just looking at that in 2017, realizing it really wasn't that long ago. You know, the museum opened in 2017. So,
right.
You know, for them to have access to Klan robes and all of that, like man, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. Yeah. So check out the story as we, you know, documented all of that. We ain't gonna be on here too long. I'm about to hit the road, but we just wanted to kind of reflect on that experience right there.
Yeah, it was funny because inside the museum there were people that worked there. It was some black, some white, you know.
Yep.
Even the people that were visiting were some white, some black. You know, there was some people that had little kids in there, which is you know, more parents should do that.
Definitely.
More parents should take their kids just to museums, especially like that.
Right.
You know, y'all taking them to God knows where, and you know, let them just do whatever, or you know, you should be taking to places like that, just kind of out of it.
Right, kind of get an opportunity, and like a lot of you know, when the George Floyd thing happened, a lot of white people start asking like, what can we do? What can we do? How can I help? You know, how can I become an ally? And that's just do your homework and teach others. You know what I'm saying? It's like an each one teach one kind of deal. And the more people get educated, the more eyes get open. Then, you know, that'll stop you from at least being in a situation where you're not doing the right thing because of the difference of somebody's skin color. You respect and understand the experience, and then you know, treat people just the right way because you're a good person and you wanna stand on those morals, and you won't sacrifice that because somebody's skin color. Basically, it's really as simple as that.
But society, as crazy as it seems right now, has come like so far. It's just come a long way to be where we are now, sitting and having a conversation. And I'm sure it was black people, white people having conversations back in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
Right.
But just
and they was paving the way, you know.
But just in terms of society actually having these laws passed, and like, all right, guys, we can't lynch black people anymore. That's against the law.
Right.
People are like, dang it, you know, what are we gonna do now? And then
don't lynch people. How about that? But you know, it was a protection that was put in place.
But 1959 was the last one. No, 49. Shortly after that was what? The what movement?
The Civil Rights Movement.
So,
yeah, but it was started by Emmett Till, because another thing that we didn't even mention, that the other list was about race-related deaths that weren't like
right. That weren't legally okay. Like
right.
Lynchings were just kind of.
Well, it wasn't really like a lynching, but it was like somebody got killed on some, like Emmett Till was one of those that fell under that category.
You heard Dave Chappelle tell that story about that?
About Emmett Till?
Yeah.
I'm sure I did.
He was just talking about how like
the lady.
Stuff and called her baby. But you know, they were just for some of the stuff that people complain about today, white people and black people, about either the opposite race or their own race. it just if you go to a place like that today, it puts things into perspective. Like, man, some people have no clue how fortunate we are. You know, I know a lot of people always hate on our country and whatnot, but I mean, go live somewhere else for 9 months. You know what I mean? And see how you like it. I mean, it's just.
It's like the thing about it is having to live in that environment, in that climate, under those circumstances, the amount of pressure you are under to just survive. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to, live a peaceful life is pretty much almost non-existent. Like you have to either be completely subservient and not, have any ambition or to try to better yourself and grow, and just live in a bliss of ignorance, or you could try your best to fight against it and just stand up as a man, but you could definitely lose your life if that's the case. So you could be at peace with that sacrifice and that, putting yourself in that position. And if you're at peace with the results of it, like a lot of men were who, were assassinated for standing up on that,
Or just being arrested, that's just kind of crazy. I mean, you don't have that now. You still have protests that some have gotten violent, some were peaceful, but at the peaceful ones, the fact that we've come to the point where you're allowed to do that, like you have the freedoms, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, which that's progression, but we're still in a continuous evolving process of, mending all those once broken relationships. I wonder how long, how many more years till the generations pass on that were immediately impacted by, the lynchings and whatnot. You know what I mean? Or, you hope, does it get lost? Do things get lost in the shuffle of all the madness that's going on right now with COVID and whatnot? Or, you know what I mean? Because will it still be issues?
Right. Like, when does it die down more as we go?
Because we talk about those influences of people dying. I mean, my grandmother was brought up, and then parents, they weren't impacted by it, but still some people were.
Right.
My grandmother was born in the let's see, the 20s.
The 20s.
She's 94.
My parents were born in the 20s too.
My parents were born in the 60s.
Teens, actually. Yeah.
So even our parents were immediately impacted from racially motivated things in society, growing up and whatnot.
Definitely.
But ours weren't impacted in a negative way.
Yeah,
we're fortunate that we weren't bred any sort of racial hate.
No.
But during those times, think about how many people were. But now
that are our age.
Right, but now that we're the parents, that's less and less. So if you keep less parents don't breathe that into the kids, evenly, it's possible it could die. You know what I mean?
I think the numbers might be shrinking because, just it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But some people still fighting really hard to hold on to those beliefs and to teach it and to promote it. And I think that with all this stuff happening, you got some people who were on the fence that's swinging either way. You probably, with the George Floyd situation, a lot of momentum was built, for allyship and for people to be Black Lives Matter. And, the voices got louder and they multiplied significantly.
It's just,
for a little while. Now,
COVID took over.
COVID came back and kind of slowed everything down. And, that I think that's another reason why it's important for us to have this conversation, to let people not forget that that's still something that we got to face. Right that's still something else that we're going to have to face.
More going on than just COVID.
Right. When we get back to school, our students going to still have to deal with. So a lot of students in a lot of schools are going to have to deal with, racial situations.
I mean,
and teachers and faculty, administrators, everybody.
I sometimes thought about what happens if we were in school when the George Floyd incident went down nationwide. It could have been a lot worse. It could have created so much more, tension between kids. But we could have used that as maybe a good learning experience too.
And I think it's important for us still to do that.
Yeah, and to talk about it because kids definitely, you want to not misinform, but just say, make your own conscious decision about what's been happening, and like you said, just you have the ability to know the difference between right and wrong.
Right.
So
exactly. And you want to treat people. I mean, you treat people how you want to be treated. And if you want to treat people, and that's, I don't have to say nothing else about it. That's it. Like, just do the right thing by people. And,
Was that? Let's see. What else was there?
So after we left,
or anything else that we particular from there that you remember? That you was kind of
we talked about the sit-ins, and they actually had wade-ins.
The wade-ins, black people at the beach.
Went to the beach and
because they weren't allowed on the beach, so
exactly,
like, we're gonna go.
Exactly. So they even went and did that because there was that was something that took place in multiple cities about black people who was trying to get to swim, and there's a stereotype about us not being able to swim. You know what I'm saying?
You can't swim.
I know how to swim very well, and everybody in my neighborhood did. So it was news to me when I learned that stereotype was a thing.
So if I said a lot of black people can't swim, would I be stereotyping or?
You would, but what I've learned is not far from the truth. Like, more people than I would expect it. Based off my experience, because I was in a group of swimmers. We were good too, so.
Okay, here, can I share a quick 2-minute funny story?
Go for it.
About black people and swimming?
Alright, don't get yourself in trouble, man.
I'm
just messing with you. What's up?
At Mississippi Valley, they offered, I'm looking at my course list and I see beginning swimming. I was like, what is, I grew up in a pool, I could see what this is about. And then advanced swimming, I'm like, what is this, like a swim team?
Should have took that.
But Coach Waddell, he was the so I walked into class the first day, beginning swimming. It was me and like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 black kids. There was only white kid there.
Yeah, right. Of course.
He looked at me, he said, Butts, can you swim? I said, yes, sir. I grew up in a pool and I had one, 2nd grade, whatever. He goes, well, a lot of these people have it,
Right.
So we're going to have to break out the floaties, and it's going to be very breathing techniques, very like he's really legitimately teaching people how to swim, float in water. He goes, if you can do the following 3 things, I'll give you an A and you can test out. And he literally, I had to swim from one end of the pool to the other, wade in the water for like a minute, jump off the big diving board and swim to the side. And then I had to sit in a boat, turn it over, and get back in. And probably took an hour or so. Nice. I let me rest in between because these are things they build up to throughout the year, and I tested out.
Nice.
And this was like beginning swimming and advanced swimming.
Right.
That I completed in one day.
Yeah, I could have done the same thing. I remember you telling me about this.
Easiest college course
ever.
I
just signed up for that.
And it was fun. So I told Zach, if you're watching, Zach came with me, I think, to the next time. I want to say Zach was there with me doing it. Zach, I know you're,
I only swam in that pool like once the whole time.
The football team, we should go in there.
Oh no, it was probably like 3 times.
Football team, we go in there after workouts.
Yep, we did.
All right, sorry, I just had to show the law.
No, that's a good story because it's the truth. But all right, so from the museum, we went to what I decided was an important thing for me. Like, man, Medgar Evans got killed in Jackson. Let's go to his house where it happened at. I already know the story about Byron D. LeBeck with killing him. So, I said, we pulled up at the house, and man, it was like. Should
I know that? I didn't know.
Yeah, you should know. Ghost of Mississippi. You haven't seen Ghost of Mississippi?
No.
You sleep. You gotta watch it. All right. You gotta watch the movie.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, so it's hard for me to explain the feeling, but I don't know, if y'all ever get a chance, drive through Jackson, just pass by it, and you could see like, I did some research on it. There's a house now where he stood in the woods and shot him, but you could see like, the house is kept very well. I think Tougaloo College has the rights to it now. So there's a wreath out there, a monument, historic national monument or whatever. And some photos and some pictures and things like that. And, it's just, First of all, it's just a sad thing, honestly, because what happened to Medgar Evers for just trying to do the right thing, get people to learn how to, get people the rights to vote, and just leading and organizing people to be in a better position in their life, and try to help themselves out and uplift themselves. And they just killed the man, like in front of his family. His kids in the house. He got 3 kids, his wife in there. He just left the NAACP meeting because he was the field secretary for the state of Mississippi for the NAACP. So he moved to Jackson for that reason. He was living in Mountain Bayou, which I really didn't, I had heard it before, but that was like an all-black town out in Mississippi. So shout out to Mountain Bayou. But he was killed. He had the T-shirts in his hand for the march that they was organizing for the next day, and they took my man out. So it was good for me, for my soul, to just pay homage to him, and stand in the spot that his life was taken way too soon at the age of 37.
Well, and like I said, I never, I didn't know he had a house. I didn't know that was even a thing.
Right.
Until you were like, hey, let's go back. I'm like, honestly, in my head, I'm thinking, I've never been down this road in my life.
Right.
Driven past that road. But, and then, I guess he was fighting for, equal rights and whatnot,
Mm-hmm. Voting pretty much was the main platform.
But overall, his mindset was, we got to be equal about stuff.
Yes, for sure.
Fighting for black people's rights. And ironically, we talked about the surrounding areas of his house. A lot of it was, abandoned, dilapidated buildings. Just like you ask any local Jacksonian, it's a bad part of town. Mm-hmm. That's not just a place.
The roads are horrible.
Roads are very horrible, and you're thinking, how would he think? What would he think about things today?
Right.
And that's a black neighborhood. There's mostly black businesses around there, churches, and not that it's sad. It's not like I wouldn't want anyone to think that's a beneath way of living.
Right.
For whatever reason, there's not money being put into the city to fix the roads there and or tear down old buildings. We were making a statement. We were driving through Madison, and I told you about old Tulane University school grounds that were torn down and leveled, and they're planning to put up new development there, and that was done within a year. Stuff just happens.
Right.
Right. So maybe it's a leadership thing in Jackson. But I don't know. At what point did citizens, because Jackson has high crime rates. Just like Baton Rouge does for the most part. Maybe not as bad, but
it was funny, because the whole time I'm looking at as we ride around Jackson in the black neighborhood versus the other parts of town.
Saying that
the majority part of the town.
That was just a. All black.
Yeah, it's like North Baton Rouge is kind of the same thing, and then you kind of cross over Florida and government into a more affluent area.
Yeah, so 5-10 minutes up the road.
So the highest poverty in the city is located in the black neighborhood, where a lot of businesses that were there aren't operating anymore. A lot of houses are abandoned, and the yards not cut.
Abandoned houses leads to crack houses. Prostitution,
drugs, and just crime in general, because who's taking care of these spaces, and no one is. So
no one's being held accountable.
Right. So it's just a typical ride through usual urban settings in the United States of America. You kind of see the same kind of thing in those larger cities where these impoverished areas are mostly inhabited by people of color, and it just seems like it's designed that way in certain reasons, because the pattern is so consistent that you just have to question, why is it like this? Who is responsible for it, and who, if anyone, is doing anything to try to solve the problem and bring something back to those.
That's what I'm saying. The young people of the generation, like Medgar Evers or Martin Luther King, they were fighting for something and making moves on a whole nother level of importance.
Right.
It's sad that people of today, they have it in front of them and they're just letting it, slip through their hands.
A lot.
It's look, not everything, but your situation is a lot better off than I had it when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So you should be trying to make the most of it and
improve it. Right.
And you don't see that in Jackson from a whole standpoint, in a lot of big cities, really, just around the
because the cycle just been perpetuating itself for so long. But I think we at a critical time right now in 2020 that shifts one way or another. Things are gonna shift over this next decade, and when we hit 2030, there's gonna be a different story gonna be told. Hopefully, because a lot of things have been brought to the light, and a lot of conversations are being had that weren't had before, and it's only gonna grow because, like I said, the right should win out. You know what I'm saying? But there are people fighting to maintain.
There's just so much distractions, though. You know what I'm saying? The media, like, there's so much distractions from what's really important to keep people's attention.
Right.
Which is shameful in itself.
Yep. So
we got to make sure that our kids don't get lost in that. But that was about it. Took you to the Mississippi Sports Museum was closed.
The Mississippi Sports Museum was closed.
I'm just saying, Mississippi. We just talk about football in general. If you name Brett Favre, Steve McNair, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, and I could just stop there.
Yeah, you good.
And I'm going. This is arguably position-wise.
You done good.
Hey,
you done good.
I mean, I got a running back, wide receiver, 2 quarterbacks.
You pretty much got of all time, you got either Jerry Rice is pretty much wide receiver 1.
Mississippi Valley, Jackson State, Alcorn, Southern Miss.
Yeah.
None of the big schools wanted any of them guys.
None of them.
Mississippi State didn't want
Mississippi State, Ole Miss didn't want.
Alabama, none of the.
Florida wanted Steve McNair to play safety. He was like, "No, I'm playing quarterback." He probably, if Steve McNair was white, he could have got the scholarship probably to Ole Miss.
Did you know that?
Or Mississippi State.
Southern Miss.
They wasn't gonna play no black quarterback.
Southern Miss was. Southern Miss was Brett Favre's only offer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was like a running quarterback in high school too.
Brett Favre was good at quarterback for sure.
Yeah,
he was good. That's one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie. I love watching him.
But I'm saying,
he had fun.
He made. Honestly, people think, "Oh, it's just because he's a white guy." Like I was like, he's from Mississippi, so I was a Packers fan, and then I was a Vikings fan, and then I was a Jets fan, or reverse that, Jets. Vikings.
That's your boy.
And then when he retired, I was like, I don't really care about NFL. I was like, honestly. And it's just it was different because he's from Mississippi, and you kind of have that growing up. Steve McNair was I don't know. I was a little bit younger, so I wasn't really into I guess that anyway.
This the thing. Y'all just probably wasn't on the swag tip. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't really watching LSU like that when I was little. You know what I'm saying? We was
I told you, I didn't know. I was like Mississippi Valley.
Yeah.
Before I went there, I didn't know that really.
I knew about Mississippi Valley because Southern played them, but my daddy used to take us to watch Steve McNair. Like, we wouldn't go to Southern games. We going to Alcorn and watch them play Ground. We going to Ground to watch McNair play. We followed McNair everywhere we could. Him and Marlon went to more games than I did. So, McNair was my favorite football player all the time in college. That's one I seen.
I mean, I grew up going to Mississippi State games, and as a kid, we had black quarterbacks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And
he let Stephen.
In the mid to late '90s, Sleepy Robinson, Greg Plunk.
Don't know who that is.
Plunk.
I'm gonna have to look them up too. But I remember the first one.
That's just a few. We had a lot, and now there's
Yeah, first one I remember at LSU was Herb Tyler in '97, and then Rohan Davey came and he did his thing, and then Marcus Randall, Ryan Perilou, they was both backups on national championship teams.
While we talking about race stuff, do you know the first SEC school to hire a black coach? Can you? Malcolm Reed, question of the day.
Mississippi State, Sylvester Croom.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you did that.
I was at Valley when that happened, though, so
Me and my cousin Joe Nelson, Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
He actually worked at LSU. We went to the Liberty Bowl when Croom was there. They won like 9-6. Worst game ever.
Who they played?
I can't.
Oh wait,
Central Florida. Or
what year was
maybe?
this? Like what round?
South Florida. This was like 06, 07.
Okay, yeah.
They won like 9-6, like all field goals. It was awful, but it was fun. But yes, I think that was Kroom's.
Yep.
I know Kroom was a coach.
All right, you want a question? Let me see. Tell me who was the president of the Confederacy. That's weird. Mississippi.
President of the Confederacy?
Yeah, you gotta know.
Grant.
No, man. Golly. This is Jefferson Davis. He was a Mississippi senator or governor.
Yeah, you may mention that Jefferson Davis last time he was a Mississippi boy.
All good. I was just, since we in Jackson. It's named after, this city is named after Andrew Jackson. People probably just say the name and don't know what it represents. But
Sleepy Robinson. He was playing in early 90s. See, come on, man.
Okay. All right. Well, Mississippi State was tripping because they got Sleepy Robinson. They could have had Steve McNair right in their backyard. Steve McNair went to Alcorn though. HBCU SWAC.
Right.
SWAC decided to postpone the season.
That's tough, man.
The schedule.
I saw somebody put an interesting question out there about will the SWAC recover from this? If they move it to the spring, we should be all right. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
We should be all right.
Yeah. All right, man.
But yeah,
I think that's it, bro.
Was that about your Jackson trip?
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to come up here and see the fam, hang out, kick it.
Yeah.
Get to experience those.
It's been since you've seen the kids.
For real. Yeah. For real. So I'm thankful for what I got to see. Mm-hmm. I am a total, advocate for going to that museum.
Yeah,
like
parents need to take their kids there.
Schools even in Louisiana, that would be a great field trip. It's a little long, but you can make a day of it and really get your students a lesson. If you're looking for allyship, that museum, allyship. I think I'm using that right.
Yeah, I mean I like that. But
I got some, a little bit.
Like children need knowledge, and some adults do too, man. There was some things that I saw in there that was kind of eye opening too.
Right. So, I mean, for me, and I'm a teacher of this stuff. So.
I honestly didn't even know the severity of the lynchings and stuff like that. I didn't realize it was. But anyway.
Man. I'm glad we both got to see it, bro. Good times. All right. I'll let you sign off. That's it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Who checked us out? We're gonna upload this later. Make sure you go like and subscribe or whatever. Go like our Chestnut Checkers podcast Facebook page. Yeah, I got it right, I think. So do that and go see the stories that's on there, and you'll see kind of a glimpse of the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. And then whenever you get ready, you can go see it on your own. We can't give it all away for free. All right, do your thing, and we out.